Right, very good. So, of course, to begin with, you can always just Google up dashDB local what's new, and you'll see this page, which also covers everything that's new, as well as the history of everything that's new. Mitesh did a great review of what's new in version 1.9, which we just shipped earlier last week. So I just want to show you some of these key new features. So the first one has to do with external LDAP. If you go into the console, and as Mitesh did describe, we are also bringing in some new design cues from IBM's new design strategy. So you'll see some of this magenta color in some of the functionality, and you'll see more and more of it as we continue to change and improve the look and feel. But for LDAP, if you go into the settings section, you'll see a new panel now. It's called external LDAP. If you go into external LDAP, you'll get this new screen. And right now, by default, it's already using an internal LDAP server that's inside our container. But then you can choose to specify to use your own external LDAP, as long as you provide all the information for your LDAP server here, including things like you can choose your own, security certificate if you wish, right? As well as things like client store passwords, right? Et cetera, et cetera. So all the things that you need here to be able to do this. One comment that I will make is that if you switch over to external LDAP, then all the user privileges, user management UI will no longer be available unless you switch back to our internal LDAP. Right. So I do want to point that out. Once you switch over to external LDAP, then that gives you full control to manage your users as you wish, and therefore that's why things like this panel here, where you manage users and privileges, will no longer be available until you switch back. Likewise, we do provide command line tools similar to be able to do this type of capability as well. So this is a screen of the same server. For LDAP, it's just configure LDAP. That's the command that you would use. So you can access it with a Docker execute against your container. Because I did not enter any of the parameters, it'll actually just tell you what those options are. Same information that you see on the console that you can also put in command line if you wish, host, port, et cetera, et cetera. Now, one of the other commands that Mitesh also talked about that we also provided based upon customer feedback was the ability to get your web console URL. Right, what do you put into your web browser to be able to get to your console? So I have an example here as well, showing you how you'd be able to get that. Again, the command is just get web console URL. You can hit it with a Docker execute, right? And here it shows you the example of what that looks like here. And then this would be the URL. You can take that, copy, paste into your web browser, and then you'd have everything that you need, right? So those are the key things that we're that's available in terms of the production dash local v19 container. The other area that I did want to talk a little bit about as well is the experimental container. So the experimental container, as you can see here in what's new, we do offer it indeed for all platforms. For dash local, these platforms are always going to be consistent moving forward. So you can get the experimental container for Power as well as for Intel. And these are the repository and the container tag. The repository is in preview. So normally your production would be an IBM dashDB local, and then your tag. In preview, you'll see this experimental container as well as some other experimental projects that we have running out of development. If you're interested in how to use some of these new advanced features and capabilities, some of them do require switches and knobs to be able to turn on. Feel free to just contact support or reach out by maybe writing something into one of our support blogs or community forums, and we'll be happy to help you try out some of these new features and capabilities. So with that wraps up month of May. There were several defects and issues as well that we also resolved. But if you are curious about a list of defects, also feel free to reach out to your IBM support representative.